host TCG here, and thanks again for watching another video. In this video we will check out the top 10 supporters in the standard format, and just know that this is my opinion only. Your opinion might be completely different and I respect that, so definitely go wild in the comment section and I'll be sure to check it out. Yeah, for those of you that don't know already, I'm also a retro gamer, so that's why the Game Boy and Game Boy Color games of Pokemon are in the background, as well as my expanded deck, Untitled EX, and my standard deck, the Scylla GX. So these are the decks I play at the moment, and these top 10 cards about the supporters will be all based around my experience with the cards, so definitely look forward to a great list. So to start things off, we have this nice looking card right here, Teammates, which is actually sort of a reprint of Twins. I used it back in the days a lot. This is actually really great because it lets you search your deck for up to 2 cards and put them directly in your hand. Why is this so good? Well, in decks that are, yeah, I actually run 1 copy in the Scylla GX, so just to let you guys know, if your opponent knocks Pokemon out, you can use it on your next turn. So that means it's a situational card, but it can be really crucial to get those last 2 cards for the puzzle to complete, just to get yourself a DCE, a last evolution line, anything like that, maybe an item card. So it's a situational card that can get you anything, even a Pokemon. I definitely use it a lot to just get myself a Lugia and a DCE and then strike out of nowhere with an arrow ball. So this is a really great card, and I definitely suggest you try it out. I really like it a lot, so there's that. Alright, we have the Pokemon Center Lady. Where do I begin with this one? This actually helped me a lot in the Yveltal deck back in the days. It lets you heal 60 damage and remove all special conditions from one of your Pokemon. So you can heal off the bench, you can heal off the active. Just think about a situation where Lapras GX used this the Ice Beam GX and you're paralyzed. Well, Pokemon Center Lady fixes that problem for you. Also, healing off 60 damage is quite, just situational, where you just heal off and then you don't get one-shotted, which means you get an extra turn to attack, which means you can definitely get yourself prizes and get on top of the game. So Pokemon Center Lady, this is also a one-off in the deck, so if you're playing this together with 4 VS Seekers, you can maybe reuse it, so that way your Yveltal EX with a ton of energies doesn't get one-shotted, or and another deck, for example, your Darkrai with Dark Pulse does not get one-shotted or 2-shotted. This is a really great card to heal off, so if you're playing a healing deck, maybe with Fairy Drop, maybe try this card out as well. Healing 50 damage with Fairy Drop in combination with healing 60 with this supporter can be quite deadly for your opponent. They will have to do a lot of stuff to come back from that. Next up, we have Lillie. This is a great card. If you start with it, you can just draw cards until you have 8 cards in your hand. Just think about a situation where you have 2 Ultra Balls and just Ultra Ball stuff away and you have only 1 card in your hand. Then you can draw 7 cards. Really powerful because you can just keep the cards that you want in your hand. And the thing is, if you not start with it, you can only draw cards until you have 6, which is not bad either, since most decks definitely run 4 Ultra Ball. You can definitely get rid of some cards and just make room to use a supporter. So maybe a one-off in a deck is nice. If you happen to start with it, it's really good because you can save resources that you want, and with that you can get your first turn, make it one of the best turns ever. Lillie. Okay, we're just gonna do it like that because the shadow is getting in the way. We have Scylla. This is a neat card, has been around since Boundaries Crossed. Reminded me back of those days. Scylla could actually get, and supporter really great, it lets you search your deck for a trainer, which means you can definitely get that ace pack from your deck straight away, meaning computer search, or another ace pack you want to run and expand it. Scylla is also a really powerful card and decks that rely on a bunch of energies, like or not energies, trainers, like the Spirit Links, for example. Just think about putting this in a Mega Gardevoir deck. This is really great. You can get out your Fairy Drops, you can get out a VS Seeker for later, you can get even out a Stadium card like the Fairy Garden. You can do a lot of stuff with this. Can get the Spirit Link. Also other things are possible. Getting the Trainer's Mail to get drawing into the Ultra Ball. This is a nice card indeed, so definitely check it out if you haven't already. Alright, moving on, we have Delinquent. This is actually the number 5 spot is, or actually it's the number 6. Let's just count again. We have Teammates on 10, Pokemon Center Lady on 9, Lillie on 8, and on 7 we have Scylla, so this is number 6. Delinquent. This actually helps me a lot in a lot of decks. Just think about a situation where your opponent does not get a good start and you happen to start with Delinquent and a good setup. You use Delinquent, discard a stadium card like the Forest of Giant Plants, that way they they won't use it against you and stuff, so you can just discard it, and then your opponent discards 3 cards from their hand. This is really devastating and really in the late game as well. If just think about the situations where you end your opponent. This is another supporter coming soon in the list. Yeah, that's really deadly as mentioned. So with the Delinquent, you can just force your opponent to discard their stadium card in combination with 3 of their cards in their hand. And if they only have 3, then they really have to top deck turn after turn, which gives you the edge. So I would definitely recommend 1 copy and a certain deck that is really aggressive, because it will definitely help you out in a lot of situations. Alright, number 5, we have Professor QQ or Professor Kukui or Professor whatever. This is a really nice full art as well. I was really lucky to pull it in the Elite Trainer box. Definitely check that video out, it was insane, that video. Okay, moving on. Yeah, we have this awesome looking supporter. It lets you draw 2 cards, and then during your turn you deal 20 extra damage, and that damage to your opponent's action is before applying weakness and resistance. So you actually add up 20 damage to your attack. In total, in certain decks, like again with the Mega Gardevoir example, you can just definitely 2-hit your opponent, because Gardevoir usually with Desperate only deals 110, unless you're running the Brilliant Arrow version. But more about this card. Let's say you are only dealing 160 damage with Evo Ball. Well, this Professor Kukui can help you out to deal 180 damage and knock out basic GX or EX like that. Except if you're running a wishy-washy GX, then you have to be careful. Yeah, the extra 20 damage is so good. I definitely recommend in an aggressive deck that relies on a lot of damage. Just running 1 or 2 copies. You can VS Seeker for it later, but don't running in a deck with what am I saying? The item lock, because otherwise only 1 Kukui is not that consistent. You definitely want the VS Seeker for it in situational situations. That what I'm saying. If you need the 20 extra damage, VS Seeker has that capability to get 20 extra damage on your field, so on your opponent's Pokemon. So that's good. All right, moving on, we have on the number 4 spot, just not getting in the top 3 spot, is N. Why is that? I really like N, but I don't like to get N, so I put this on the 4th place. This is a card that has been around since Noble Victories. The full art is going for a lot of money nowadays, has been reprinted a couple of times, also Black and White Promo 100 I believe. So yeah, it has been seen a lot of play, and almost 90% of all the decks out there, so a really powerful card in the late game. And the beginning of the game, it's great getting a fresh hand of 6. That's never gets any better than that. And in the late game, you can just end your opponent to 1 card. With that, you have the upper hand, and you determine if you just want to get your opponent stuck to 1 or maybe 2 cards, while you can just recover from a game. This is a recover card just to get yourself back in the game and maybe win in an unwinnable situation. So N, definitely love it. Don't have it as a full art though. Next up, one of my personal favorites, Ninja Boy. This is an amazing card in my opinion. It came out with, I believe it was one of the earlier sets, or from the standard format. Maybe Ancient Origins, could be wrong though. I don't know what set this is from, but it actually is really good nowadays with the help of Tauros GX, or maybe in a water box deck. Just think about the situation where you run a basic Pokemon and you just happen to start with it and you're saying like, I wish I had another one. Well, this gives you the choice to swap into that Pokemon and get your preferred starter at the active position. Another thing it can do is it can swap into a Tauros GX, and you can use the damage counters on your previous active Pokemon just to use Mad Bull GX for a 1-hit KO. Another thing that is great about this card is that you can just swap, as mentioned, in the Pokemon you want. Let's say in the Water Toolbox, you're facing off against maybe Lurantis or something. That is an evolution Pokemon. You swap into Glaceon, and then you are invulnerable for the evolution Pokemon, so that's great. The same thing goes for just Ninja Boy into Jolteon if you're afraid of basic Pokemon, so quite the splashable card here and there. I also seen a couple of people try out the Tauros and the Volcanion deck, so it has been seen a lot of play lately, so that's why it's in my top 3. I definitely love Ninja Boy. Okay, Next up, the number 2 spot, Lysander. This is one of the most played cards ever because Lysander came out with Flash Fire back in the days of the XY and has been reprinted as well. Lysander makes you just switch your opponent's bench Pokemon with his active, and you can choose that bench Pokemon. So this is actually a target on the bench, which means you can just win games with that. How many games have been won thanks to Lysandering up a Shaman EX? I can tell you a lot. So this will actually help in most games just to stall as well, just Lysandering up with something with a huge retreat cost, or just Lysandering up something that your opponent has been building up on the bench, like let's say a Flareon EX with a ton of energy as well. Lysander that up, just use an attack to one-shot it and bang, the threat is gone. Lysander is just so good and shouldn't be overseen. Definitely put 1 or maybe 2 or maybe even 3 in your deck depending on your playstyle. And now, ladies and gentlemen, what is the number 1 spot? You should have guessed it already. It is Sycamore. Why is Sycamore so good? I'm just gonna explain it right now for the people that don't know. Sycamore lets you discard your hand and draw 7 cards. Why is this so good? Well, discarding your hand means most of the time you already used Ultra Ball or something that you don't want, so you can also have cases where you just draw 7 cards. The bad thing about it, that if you start with it and there's a bunch of crucial stuff and this is the only supporter you have, then it's not that good, but it's definitely worth running 3 or 4 copies in your deck just to get that speed. Drawing 7 cards is huge. Just think about, you just draw 7 cards, you get 2 Ultra Balls, just to use 2 more Shaman EXs, bench them, you actually draw into half of your deck. So with this card you can draw into your deck way quicker than you ever could before, and this has been around a lot since I think the XY days, so it has been around for I believe 4 years, could be wrong though, so this is, or maybe 3, could be wrong, so just correct me in the comment section. This, I just love it, the full art as well. I always use 4 copies, and just in decks like, just let's say an example to give you guys, the Decidueye deck over there, I use 4 copies of Sycamore. Just think about, I use Sycamore, get rid of 2 Decidueyes and 2 Dartrix. Ooh, that is bad, you say? Well, I happen to draw 2 Revitalizers, poof, they're all back in 1 turn, 4th of Giant Plant slapping down, and everybody evolves. So, it can be cool in certain situations as well. Just think about, you discard a bunch of fire energies and then you use the Baby Volcanians attack. Well, you have energies in your discard pile thanks to Sycamore. So Sycamore, discarding cards can also be a good thing. Just think about Vespiquen. If you discard a bunch of Pokemon, well, you deal more damage with B-Revenge, so it can be the best supporter in your entire deck, so that's why it's my number 1. So this is it for the list. Definitely let me guys know what your favorite supporter is in the standard format. I'd love to know your opinion, and that is another video. So tomorrow there will be a booster opening of the Solgaleo and the Lunala EX 10. Hopefully if the 10s get released at my local store, otherwise it'll be for Monday. But yeah, those 10s will come soon, and as usual there will be a daily video. I'm trying to get that streak going on, a 7-day streak every week as the best thing it can be for the TCG. And yeah, you guys should definitely enjoy your weekend, and just smash the hell out of the like button if you enjoyed the video. That always helps me out, and subscribe if you haven't already. The TCG is waiting for new players to add to the Zapdos TCG community to get the game bigger than it ever was before. Anyways, have an awesome day guys. Thanks again for watching another video, and I will be seeing you guys tomorrow. Peace out.